Hero of Hero Creations. And there's a little something that happened in Destiny last night called the Destiny 2 State of the Game. And stuff happened, and I would like to read through it to give you my reactions and opinions. So, State of the Game, August 2023. My name is Joe, and I'm the game director for Destiny 2. Right now, the team and I are heads down on making sure the final shape and the seasons leading up to it are incredible. So, for the rest of this update, you'll be hearing from a bunch of different voices that all contributed to this mid-year State of the Game. I wanted to start with a quick thanks to all of you who have been playing Destiny for so many years. The way you play and the feedback you give is a huge part of how we shape our plans, and it's an honor to log in each day and play in this universe alongside all of you. Back in February, we covered the state of the game leading into Lightfall and laid out 4 big goals we set for ourselves with Destiny 2 in preparation for the final shape. Then in April, we looked back at the lessons learned from launch and charted a path forward into the first half of Lightfall's year. Today, we're diving into the second half of the year, addressing some of the community's burning questions, updating everyone on our progress against those 4 goals for the year, and previewing some exciting updates as we count the days to our Destiny 2 showcase on August 22nd. As always, we like to celebrate our community first and foremost. We're thankful to see so many players continue to join us throughout this journey, and it's been amazing to welcome more new lights than we ever expected with Lightfall. Since the release of the Final Shape teaser trailer in May, the community reactions to Cade 6's upcoming return have been nothing short of heartwarming, and we can't wait to share more in the showcase later this month. But before all that, let's dig into the game we're making and playing right now. So, yes, it's actually quite true. I've seen that the overall player numbers with the release of Lightfall was probably the highest it's been ever, but with that, there's a lot of problems in Lightfall that I'm not going to reiterate here, so let's just keep on going. Addressing feedback. We've been tracking a number of player feedback items over the past few months. While we've covered some issues recently, including the roadmap for improvements in general stability, it's time for a detailed check-in on our progress in several areas of the game. Ritual updates. We've heard plenty of feedback from players that our core ritual playlists should feel more consistently rewarding to play, and that those rewards should drop more frequently, regardless of the activities you like to play. We agree. Let's talk about what we've done so far and what we're doing in Season 22 to achieve this. With Season of the Deep, we've upgraded the weekly ritual challenge rewards to exotic engrams to give everyone consistent sources of materials to focus the exact exotic armor they want to run. This is true, there's actually been a really good change, in my opinion. In Season 22, we're updating those weekly ritual challenge requirements so players can complete their 9 challenges in any ritual playlist they like, as opposed to having to complete three each across Vanguard, Crucible, and Gambit playlists. We'll also be increasing the frequency of ritual engram drops after completing ritual activities, and we're making the latest ritual loot pool weapons focusable at their respective vendors at the start of the season for the first time, rather than needing to wait until the following season to chase those god rolls. So to my understanding with that, it means that starting next season, you can complete all of your playlist challenges in a single playlist. It doesn't have to be playing 5 Vanguard strikes, 3 Crucible games, and 3 Gambit games. You can actually just complete all of them wherever you want. That's okay, I guess. Having ritual engrams drop from ritual activities more frequently, that's cool. And having the sort of like the ritual, I guess not really the ritual weapons, if you want to call it that, more like your sort of playlist weapons drop more frequently and to be craftable. That's actually quite nice. Not craftable, focusable. Yes. At the start of the season is also pretty good. So those are decent changes. I'm not complaining about any of that. We're loading up our ritual vendors with fresh weapons in Season 22, including the unending Tempest Stasis submachine gun in the Crucible, Lunar Regolith 3 Solar Sniper Rifle in Strikes, Quazapon 5 Void Machine Gun in Gambit, Cataphract GL3 Strand Grenade Launcher in Trials of Osiris, and more. We're also bringing some fan favorites back in our ritual playlists, including the Igneous Hammer Solar Hand Cannon in Trials and revamping Warden's Law into a brand new archetype as a Nightfall reward. All very good. I'm very happy to see that we're getting some weapons across all of our ritual playlists. That's very good. That's very good. Now this is how we're making core rituals more rewarding overall. But what are we doing for each specific area? Let's start with PvP. Guardian versus Guardian. Thanks to the hard work of multiple teams, we've delivered several additions to PvP over the past 2 seasons. These include the launch of competitive division, multiple new game modes, a revamp of Trials of Osiris, new competitive and Trials rewards, Quiet team matchmaking improvements, new rotator playlists, PvP specific weapon tuning, several quality of life improvements, and more. However, we know our hardcore PvP players want more maps, fewer cheaters, and ever-evolving meta that feels good to compete in. Okay, yes, we do have some new game modes that go through our rotated playlists, but the overall consensus that I've felt, that I've seen, is that your matchmaking isn't great, especially at low times and low populations, and especially at the high end in competitive environments, you still have a lot of cheaters, so let's get into that. The most frequent feedback we see is that there is just not enough new PvP content, specifically new maps. To set expectations, our studio structure is built to support more overarching updates to PvP, like the ones above, rather than focusing exclusively on maps. When we do focus our resources on building new Crucible maps, it comes with the trade-off of multiple teams' bandwidth on work that contributes to a variety of experiences that players also hold dear, such as new story or exotic mission content, core activities that make up the foundation of each season, or new destinations. Similarly, bringing back reprised maps also involves extensive porting to the latest version of Destiny 2, which requires additional resources to ensure the maps work correctly for multiple game modes and playstyles for years to come. There's kind of quite an easy solution to this. You hire people to fill the role of making PvP maps. Like I know I'm sitting here in a broken chair as a very, very green game developer industry person, like a couple of weeks out from graduating my degree. But that just showed your hand extremely prominently of, we don't have the bandwidth or the members to make maps without taking away from everything else. So get people to fill that role and you won't have that problem anymore. That's kind of simple. Bungie, that's not... yeah. No, I'm sorry, that's just a very easy change. You get people to make that content. With that said, we have some exciting content coming in PvP this month that several teams have brought to life, as well as an update on our advances in game security to combat cheaters, a preview of upcoming sandbox shakeups, and more details coming next week on how the general PvP sandbox, gear and ability balance will evolve. For Season 22, we have a new Vex Network themed map debuting along with the new Relic 6v6 mode, the gunplay focused checkmate modifier for multiple modes, new competitive Ascendant Division emblem, and more. Relic and Checkmate will both kick off in Crucible Labs throughout the season, so we can gather feedback on how they are received. We'll have more to share in the showcase, but let's dive in a bit more right now. So this is our VexNet map. It seems like this looks very, very interesting. They'll explain a little bit more about how they made this a little bit further, but I like the look of it so far. New PvP map, Multiplex. For our newest PvP battlefield, we wanted to create an asymmetrical map using a Vex environment as a backdrop that could work well for multiple game modes. With the Vex network playing such a crucial role in the story during Nightfall's year, we felt now was the perfect time to deliver this map. That's very fair. Although many of us have been thinking about a lo-fi Vex map for the Crucible, the challenge of this palette was the possible lack of player orientation in the play space. We thought bringing the Mars palette into the Vex network realm would be a great way to mitigate this while adding an evocative look. Narratively, the space is in the middle of compiling the Infinite Forest, so this is what you'll see in action. Watch for footage of this new map in the showcase. Okay, I'm just a little lost on that wording, because Mars is a good palette and I can see it's working in the map from what they show us, but saying narratively the space is in the middle of compiling the Infinite Forest is very strange, because the Infinite Forest was on Mercury, inside Mercury. That's a very different space than the Infinite Forest, than Mars. Okay, whatever. Checkmate. Checkmate is a modifier where rich primary weapon fights can happen more often and gun skill can be augmented by communication and strong positioning. Primary weapon damage has been tuned to feel different than the rest of the game without being jarring, reducing the gap between the faster killing weapons and the average time to kill, and in general, pushing longer range primaries into slower killing profiles. Player health has been increased, all ability cooldowns are lengthened, and special ammunition must be earned by gameplay and is not dropped on death. This all results in slightly longer combat encounters that reward skill and consistency. Checkmate will be available in Crucible Labs from week 5 to 10. We will start off with 2 weeks of Checkmate Control, then switch up with 2 weeks of Checkmate Survival, and finally 2 weeks of Checkmate Rumble to finish off this run for Season 22. Okay, I can get behind that. It's an interesting modifier. I think adding modifiers to the Crucible actually might bring a little bit more variety to it. I'm happy to test this out and I'll look forward to it. Relic. Relic is a 6v6 party mode where players wreak havoc and destruction on their foes with relic weapons. Relics include the Aegis from the Vault of Glass, the Synaptic Spear from Season of the Risen, and the Scythe from Season of the Haunted. Each player charges their personal relic energy by defeating opponents with their normal loadout. Upon reaching full charge, players can acquire a relic from a relic depot. Defeating relic holders and using the relic banned opponents earns points for the team. Whereas Checkmate is heavily focused on gunfights, Relic is intended to provide light-hearted gameplay that can be enjoyed by anyone, similar to Mayhem and Team Scorched. Relic will be available in Crucible Labs from week 1 to week 4, and again week 11 until the close of the season. We look forward to hearing your feedback on both Checkmate and Relic when they roll out next season. Okay, Relic actually sounds really good. I'm very happy. Please go and play test Relic. I'm very excited for Relic. Relic actually sounds very, very good, especially if as seasons progress we get more relic weapons, and then at like the next expansion we get that relic added into the playlist. That sounds really, really fun. I'm very, very happy for Relic. Matchmaking improvements. Our quest to constantly improve matchmaking is always ongoing, and in season 22 we're modifying our loose skill-based matchmaking settings for Control and Iron Banner. These new settings will look to improve matchmaking times and experiences for players who find themselves at the upper or lower ends of the skill spectrum, and for those playing in low population regions or times, i.e. anyone in Africa and the Middle East, and probably Australia. The team is also adding loose fighting matchmaking to the Crucible rotators, including labs, to ensure players are being evenly matched against similar fight team sizes without the need for a freelance node. Additionally, we'll be tackling an issue with lobby balancing that can misallocate players for certain skill levels. Fantastic. Please, I hope this actually does something. More to come in Season 23. Looking further ahead, we're planning to deliver a new Iron Banner mode for Season 23, along with brand new Hake aggressive frame, strand pulse rifle as our newest competitive division weapon reward. The Mercurial Overreach adaptive frame arc sniper rifle will remain available for competitors throughout Season 22. As a reminder, we're also focusing our map reprisal efforts on porting the Citadel from 2018 to the Crucible in Season 23. We all have fond memories of dominating control with our fire teams on this one. I can't wait to see what you do with the latest arsenal out there in the Dreaming City. Okay, cool. New weapon, new mode iron banner, new competitive weapon reward. I need to get competitive team together so I can get some sniper rifles, and we're getting a reprised map in Season 23, so in about 4 months time we'll have a new reprised PvP map. Vanguard playlists are currently in a solid place for a healthy population, and we have more additions coming up. First up, Vanguard medals. Okay, first of all, yeah, Vanguard is actually your best playlist. Pretty cut and dry there. I enjoy that the battlegrounds get added into the Vanguard playlist. They're actually really, I think it's actually a very good way to beef activities and not basically like remove activities from the seasons at the end of each year. Yeah, keep on doing that. It's actually, Vanguard is probably your best playlist at the moment. Vanguard medals will be available in Vanguard Ops and Nightfall starting in Season 22. After first being introduced in last year's Garden Games and their continued success in this year's event, we've decided to bring them in full time to spice things up in our Vanguard playlists. Medals will contribute to scoring, allowing players to attain higher scores and reputation multipliers by performing unique actions and doing cool things. Our goal here is to reward players for playing well and not require players to go out of their way to grind for score. In short, we don't want you to feel like you have to compromise your build in order to boost your score with additional medals. It's worth noting that some medals will remain Garden Game staples and not be available in our Vanguard playlists. So don't expect finishers to grant you a medal in Nightfalls. There will be several new medals specific to Vanguard playlists when they launch, and you can expect to see a few more in Season 23. Additionally, the selection of active medals will be determined based on current active modifiers, such as surges, to ensure a variety of builds are used for acquiring medals. Okay, might be interesting. Wasn't like a major point of anything, I think. We've also recently focused more of our team's resources into more varied and frequent season activities such as battlegrounds that can later make their way into Vanguard playlists alongside our strikes and eventually serve as new additions to Nightfall and Grandmaster playlists. While this can come at the cost of other content in the given year, we feel this exchange has been worth the extra investment for the overall health of our playlists. As a result, we'll have additional battlegrounds coming into the Nightfall and Grandmaster Nightfall rotations in Season 22 and 23 to keep players on their toes before the final shape launches. Completely okay with that. I like the battlegrounds getting added in. The Season 20 battlegrounds going in is going to be good. Maybe with like just a tuned back enemy difficulty. Deep dives would have been interesting, but I think deep dives are too varied to actually go into the playlist. But yeah, Vanguard, plain and simple, not much going on. Gambit. As many of you have noticed, we've been quiet on Gambit since last year's overhaul that launched alongside the Witch Queen. In that revamp, the team made significant changes across the 5 categories in Gambit. More the core activity fundamentals, primeval tuning, invasions, ammo economy, and rewards. Unfortunately, these updates didn't move the needle for player engagement. Although we know our Gambit fans mostly care about new or returning maps, this is an area of the game with low engagement that would take resources away from more popular parts of the game to shore up. Again, hire people to fill the role so you don't take resources away from your active game parts. Like, yes, I as a PvE main player, as a solo main player, honestly, I love the story. I love dungeons when I get to play them. I enjoy raids when I eventually get to put a team together. I love the strikes. I love the seasonal activities. Get a team of like 5 to 10 people to focus on PvP maps and gambits. You don't need that many people. Just get a small dedicated team and put some energy into it. It's not difficult. I'm sorry if it's expensive, but we pay enough for this game. You've got plenty of people playing it and purchasing it. You've seen the numbers. Come, Bungie. Come. Get a team. Make a team. Hire people. Get a team. While we don't have plans to dedicate more resources to significantly transform Gambit, we do have a few updates planned for the year of the final shape. These include porting the Cathedral of Stars map and its beautiful Dreaming City setting into the latest version of Destiny 2, as well as adding the Shadow Legion and Lucent Hive enemy types. Okay, I mean, bringing back an old map shouldn't be taking that much energy. Adding the Shadow Legion and Lucent Hive, that's cool, I guess. That's an update. Before then, we're making Gambit entirely optional to maximize your rewards unless you're looking for a piece of gear that's specific to the mode. Gambit will continue to serve as a source of exotic engrams via weekly challenges. Though, as we mentioned above, you'll be able to complete all your weekly challenges in any ritual you'd like starting in Season 22. If you want to stick to Vanguard or Crucible challenges without touching Gambit, now you can. Other than that, writing on the wall. We're also reducing the number of Gambit-specific seasonal challenges starting in Season 22, so players don't need to bank modes to be able to earn that big purse of bright dust for completing nearly every challenge in the season. Finally, we're adding fire team matchmaking to Gambit next season, which will replace the freelance node and should result in faster, better matchmaking by combining both Gambit playlists. We'll keep an eye on reception and player engagement after these additions take place, and we hope you'll visit Old Drifter next season to get your hands on his new Void machine gun. Let me say this. Bungie, I get better matchmaking times in Gambit than I do in PvP. Let me say that again. I, as a solo player, using the freelance node, get better matchmaking times in Gambit than I do in PvP. Do we understand each other? You've got people who play Gambit. There might be a wide player base that don't particularly enjoy it, but you have a player base that does. If you hired a team that focused on Gambit, be that maps or modifiers, you might actually see an uptake in popularity. Invest in your activities to improve the quality of their experiences. I can't tell you how, because I'm green and I'm not in the studio, but you have potential to actually make good stuff. Okay. Oh yes, armor set rewards. A long time ago, we shared a plan to address concerns on reward balance. Players have pointed out that we didn't release a new armor set for the ritual playlists, Vanguard, Crucible, Gambit, with Lightfall as previously called out in our yearly release schedule. Delivering ritual armor sets at the rates we have in the past has become increasingly challenging, especially considering these sets have historically had very low adoption by players as both base armor and cosmetic ornaments. At this time, we are amending our delivery plans for how often we refresh these sets and will no longer be creating a new set for every expansion. However, we are prioritizing the delivery of a new ritual armor set alongside the final shape to infuse some new looks you'll be able to show off from your time in the Vanguard, Crucible, and Gambit playlists. We also have a new armor set for Trials of Osiris releasing in just a few short weeks. Here's a preview of the Titan armor set coming in Season 22. Delivering ritual armor sets at the rates we have in the past has become increasingly challenging, especially considering these sets have historically had very low adoption by players as both base armor and cosmetic ornaments. So Bungie, you have made let's go over the course of a year. You make 8 armor sets for each class just in the seasons. You've made 3 light subclass armor sets. You've made 3 platform partnership armor sets, which means we're at 14 armor sets over the course of the year. 6 of them being Eververse, very unique, very good looking, and then you've got some let's say an armor set for Iron Banner and a new armor set for Trials. You definitely have the capacity to add in an armor set that can be repainted across your ritual playlists. That can be repainted again across your ritual playlists. That if you actually cared about, you could have them be actually aesthetically attractive, and you can tune how the stats drop. You can make them a base 60 stat rolls, like if they can be between 60 and 65 stats. And people, like especially fresh players who want some armor to start out with, that's a good base stat. And yes, if they actually look good, that's it. I mean, hell, have a single armor set and then 3 shaders. Make it a ritual armor set and 3 shaders. You can't come in here and say when you're making like 14 armor sets a year, half of them being Eververse, that you don't have the capacity to make a ritual armor set once a year with your expansion. Like, I'm sorry, you're making paid content. You've got the paid content for your dungeons, which have extra armor that's paid for, but your expansion, which comes with a planetary armor set for each class and a raid armor set for each class. You do have reprised raids, which I think come with your dungeon key anyways, which is usually 1 extra reprised armor set. I'm sorry, yes, you're probably making 20 armor sets per class a year. More, actually, because of your events. You have the capacity to make a single ritual armor set and then just shader it. It's fine. Make a single armor set. Use it across all ritual playlists, like you did with, what was it? Beyond Light. You can do it. We know you can do it. Oh, wait, sorry, it was Witch Queen. You can do it. We've seen you do it. Do it again. It's fine. It's fine. 1 ritual armor set. Use it across all playlists. Shader it. It's fine. Game security. Our security team works to prevent cheaters from ruining the experience for legitimate players, whether that be directly in competitive PvP activities or indirectly, such as boosting or making new burner accounts and bringing them into in-game content like trials. Here are a few things from 2023 that we can share with you about our ongoing mission to protect players from cheaters and enable players to experience the game as its design is intended. What has changed in Destiny 2 security this year? Over the course of the year, we have invested further in data science, machine learning, building confidence in the detections they produce. These tools allow us to observe and evaluate player behavior in new ways and issue an increasing number of actions in response. In addition, we have continued to adapt new policies to protect players, including the abuse of external accessibility tools policy. The development of this policy has allowed us to catch cheaters that we may not have otherwise. This policy not only gives us an avenue to action this form of cheating, but it has also spurred us to investigate player behavior in new ways. Finally, we've worked with BattleEye to address network manipulation tools, improving our data collection, detection, and mitigation strategies. Competition is best when fair, so we will continue to issue bans or restrictions to those abusing these methods. Can you address some recent actions? As a result of extensive investigations and the evolution of the tools at our disposal, we were recently able to issue one of the largest ban waves in our history against account recovery and boosting services and the players who used those services. As our tool set evolves, we continue to build in generous thresholds to help minimize the risk of false positives, which we actually saw that a couple of weeks ago. With a bunch of speedrunners actually getting false positives on that. We also consider multiple factors when issuing bans as an additional safety measure to any set threshold. What's next for the security of Destiny 2? We will continue to evolve our prevention, detection, and ban hammer capabilities, but these are just part of our overall strategy to combat cheating efforts. Our legal team is also aggressively pursuing cheat makers across the globe in an effort to remove the source of cheat software before it is distributed. They have been highly effective in both uncovering cheat makers and bringing litigation against them, though the preparation and execution of these lawsuits take time and effort to be successful. This will always be an adaptive approach to our overall anti-cheat efforts as part of in-game security solutions to remove cheating from our game. One last reminder, as always, we receive countless messages from banned accounts that state they don't remember cheating. When we investigate these cases, we often find that they gave their accounts to someone else to play the game for them. We again remind everyone that you must protect your accounts and not use recovery services. Saying that your fingers were not on the keyboard when the cheating occurred will not help you in an appeal. Yeah? So I've kind of just been recently, I'm in the process of a module that teaches multiplayer networking cheating is very fucking difficult, especially for stuff such as this. And there's a lot of methods in which it's done. The network manipulation, in theory, can be mostly protected against, but there are methods in which that does sort of get sidestepped as well. So this is a very difficult thing. I'm glad that Bungie is doing as much as they possibly can to actually mitigate this. Good on you, Bungie, for actually using legal means to do so as well. I think that's a very important thing to actually do. And yeah, keep on doing the best you can, and I hope that your internal networks and services actually get a better handle on cheating as well. Stability updates. The stability of Destiny 2 service is the foundation of the experience. If the game is down or you're getting kicked out of activities, everything else is irrelevant. In late June, we provided an update on game stability and the steps we were taking to make your game experiences smooth and reliable. Today, we'd like to share more about what has been happening behind the scenes and what's next on our roadmap. In update 7.1.5 with Season 21, we rolled out a number of behind-the-scenes service improvements that provide an increase in stability that will set the stage for further upgrades in 7.2.0 and beyond. These include new logs and metrics not only for our claim system, but also for many of our other services. They just added all the debugs in. Very good. We also made major improvements to monitoring dashboards, which now gives the Bungie Network Operations Center greater visibility into these systems, allowing them to detect, escalate, and diagnose problems more quickly. We also detected and fixed a bug with the sign-on system before it was able to cause any issues for the player population. I wonder if that's the character deletion thing. Using the new logs and detections, we were able to confidently make several early fixes to claims and server messaging in 7.1.5.1 that might otherwise have had to wait until next season to be resolved. Working with the Bungie Network Operations Center, we are also working on process improvements to deployments, monitoring, and escalations, all focused on making Destiny 2's online experience reliable, predictable, and quick to recover if things ever go wrong. Moving forward, 7.2.0 Season 22 launch, we are beginning to do internal chaos testing using the new code we added and are already using that data to make more improvements in the 7.2.0 update. As well as verify current fixes we have planned for the season. As we do this work, we aren't just focusing on the claims system outlined in our roadmap. Our efforts also cover stability across all 50+ services that help to make Destiny 2 run. These include taking a close look at our load balancing code, service-to-service communication code, internal message processing pipelines, and more. If 7.2.0 is focused on detecting and fixing current stability issues, the theme of 7.3.0 Season 23 launch will be helping to protect us against stability issues that might occur in the future. Work here will focus on systems like auto-recovery, making internal systems healthier, and further isolating systems from one another so that a problem in one area is less likely to cascade into issues in other areas. We want our players to have the best possible experience, and we view our work with Destiny services as a long-term project that will continue to invest in beyond Season 23 and into the future. Cool. Stability stuff, we had a very good roadmap. It's nice to see that we've got some updates. It's good to see that they're actually making progress a bit faster than what they expected as well. Yeah, Bungie, keep on doing the stability work, please. Seasonal structure. As we mentioned back in February, we've been working behind the scenes to shake up the seasonal paradigm this year to subvert player expectations and make each season feel unique. We know our players are looking for more variety in repeatable season activities, and more than anything, we want to constantly surprise everyone with what comes next in each season. Although we'll talk a bit more about this below, and you'll see it in action in our showcase, we're giving ourselves more freedom to stretch narratively and in gameplay systems throughout seasons 22 and 23. We hope you'll enjoy coming on these rides with us, starting later this month. Review of what's to come. Before we get into our 6-month progress report on our goals for the year, we wanted to share some previews of seasonal quality of life upgrades, several quality of life upgrades, and core sandbox updates coming in Season 22. Some of these are designed to simply make your everyday Destiny 2 experience better. Others should result in substantial meta refreshes for both PvE and PvP. At our midpoint in Lightfall's year, we hope the sum of Season 22's updates, along with the new content we've called out here and everything yet to be revealed in our showcase, Showcase will make Destiny 2 feel as fresh and exciting as ever for many players as possible. Quality of life upgrades. Sometimes it's the seemingly small improvements that can make the biggest upgrades to how you engage with Destiny 2 every day. Here's a quick look at some quality of life upgrades coming in Season 22. Cosmetic favoriting! At long last, you'll be able to pin up to 100 of your favorite shaders, ornaments, and emotes to the top of the list starting in Season 22. Yes! This is a very good system. Thank you, Bungie. Thank you to the devs who worked on this. This is actually very good. I like that you've done this. Stasis aspects and fragments move to vendor system. Any character who has completed Beyond Light campaign, will be able to acquire all available stasis aspects and fragments from LC Bray on Europe starting next season. That's much better. I think at this point we definitely needed it. Transmats will now be unlocks. Like shaders before them, transmats will now be stored as unlocks on your account rather than consumable items. Feel free to change transmats at will without needing to grab copies from collections or find them in the wild. Yes, much overdue, very overdue. Wish Ender Pursuit improvements. The Wish Ender quest has gone through a number of changes throughout the years, and in Season 22, it becomes a real quest. No more charged or uncharged discs sitting in your inventory, just a single quest strand in your quest log. Cool. Anyone who hasn't done their Wish Ender stuff, enjoy doing that in Season 22. Resource tab added to collections. This is a change we are really excited about. We now have a resource tab in the collections, which shows you all of the currencies, upgraded materials, and engrams in the game, appropriately categorized with information on how to acquire it, as well as what to do with it once you have it. Wasn't really... I don't think this was really requested by anyone, but cool. Nice little thing you've done there. Iron Banner challenges splits, with Pinnacle rewards not being as big of a draw as they once were season over season since Season of the Deep began. We felt it was time to split the Pinnacle acquisition and reputation multipliers we added back in Season of the Haunted. Starting in Season 22, Iron Banner will have 2 different stacking challenges each day. One for players who just want their reputation multiplier, which does not require using specific seasonal subclasses, and one for players who are going after their Pinnacle rewards, which does require using seasonal subclasses. Very cool. We like that. We like to get our multiplier and carry on, since the Pinnacle acquisition isn't super important unless you're like me and only play on one character and need to level up your alt characters. Ritual rank ups immediately, dating all the way back to Season 3. Ritual reputation, previously known as Valor, Glory, Infamy, waited until you hit orbit to process any rank ups because the almost full screen banner would override the scoreboard if it showed up earlier. When we revamped and streamlined reputation over the past years, we moved the rank up banner to the bottom of the screen and made them less conspicuous, but we left the processing of ranks until you hit orbit. Now we've finally taken a step and made the rank up process immediately at the end of an activity. Okay, normal waiting for your rewards, now they'll show up right away in your loot stream. Okay, I actually misread that last night. I thought it was going to show up as whenever that rank up happened. Okay, so cool. That's at the end of activities is fine. Sandbox updates, new strand aspects. Start Season 2 and 2, adding 3 new strand aspects to enhance the strand kit of each class by adding a unique dynamic gameplay element. These aspects will be Whirling Maelstrom for Hunter, Banner of War for Titans, and Weave Walker for Warlocks. Stay tuned for more info as we get closer to the launch of the season. Exotic Armor Reworks Part 2. Similar to our first wave of exotic revamps, Season of the Deep, this team is reworking another batch of underused exotic armor pieces in Season 22 to shake things up and give players a new reason to dive into their vaults. Watch for a new developer insight article going live next week to cover all the changes we've got coming. Cool. New weapon sub-families incoming. Looking further into the future, we'll be introducing some entirely new weapon sub-families with the final shape. Tune into Showcase on August 22nd to get your first look at some of these in action, as well as some other unexpected additions to Destiny 2's arsenal yet to come. Yeah, okay. Weapon tuning preview. Didn't catch our mid-season weapon tuning update, which is there. Go check it out. You might not know that we have a substantial shake-up coming to the weapons sandbox in Season 2 in the form of decoupling damage falloff from range. We'll share more details in the upcoming weapon balance update article, but for now, the high-level goals are reduce the variance between the optimal engagement ranges of our mid-range weapons and slightly reduce the average engagement range in Crucible by pulling in the maximum damage fall-off distances of many weapons. So from that, as I understand, basically you're going to have shorter ranges, essentially, but your damage fall-off is actually going to start a bit later as well. To do this, the highest achievable damage fall-off range on almost all weapons will be reduced to some extent, with certain weapons being reduced more than others, and then in many cases, the lower edge of their damage fall-off ranges will be coming up. Keep in mind, even with their damage fall-off start values being similar, weapons will perform differently once their damage fall-off begins. As they currently do in the live game, rifle-style weapons will experience fall-off more gradually, while handheld ones will experience it more quickly, but the differences should be much less extreme. We also have hand-tuned a small list of exotics and sports special weapons with the intention of keeping them near where they are in the live game, as opposed to allowing them to receive outsized buffs or nerfs with these overarching changes. We'll share all the info on that in the upcoming weapons preview article as well. In addition to this, we have a lot of other things to look forward to in Season 22. This is not a comprehensive list, but we wanted to give you a sneak peek. Hand cannons will see increased reload speeds and PvE damage buffs against mines and major enemies. Thank fuck. Sword pull power heavy attacks will be usable with any non-zero amount of sword energy. And Sword Guard is being buffed in several areas. Okay, so I'm guessing we can slam attack now with whatever amount of sword energy we actually have. Touch of Malice is getting some tweaks we think players will enjoy, and perks such as Bipod, Envious Assassin, and Under Over will become much more usable in Season 22. Watch for a full breakdown later this month. Nice.
Now this is something that's actually going to be very controversial.
Reinforcing our goals for the year. About 6 months ago, we laid out our plan to achieve core main goals in Destiny 2 in our previous state of the game. Expand players' imaginations, bring challenge to Destiny, enrich our content, and connect our Guardians. With Lightfall and its first 2 seasons under our belts and the launch of Season 22 and our showcase just around the corner, we'd like to take a moment to catch everyone up on how far we've come on these goals and where we're going from here. Think of this as our Destiny 2 scorecard. First up, expand players' imaginations. In Lightfall and Season of Defiance, we transformed many of the ways players typically interact with the game, from core systems and build crafting overhauls to streamlining seasonal currencies. With Season of the Deep, we replaced the typical vendor upgrade module and introduced the new Deep Dives activity and pressure trials, which represent fresh experiments for Destiny 2 that we believe are worth the investment. While there's always room for us to revise and improve, the community's response has reinforced that we're on the right track with norm-breaking efforts like these, and we'll be rolling out something very new and different in Season 23. I agree. Your activity creation has actually been really good. You have done very well in your systems and mechanics teams to make new and interesting activity modifiers, mechanics, and experiences. That has been done very well. Now, without spoiling anything ahead of the showcase, our next season will be heading into creative territories we've never explored before. We're changing some things up in a big way, including the seasonal progression paradigm with an all-new mechanic. All will be revealed on August 22nd. Cool, very happy with that. Taking a step back to examine the overall narrative for the year. The team is laser focused on ensuring the connective tissue in our storytelling between Season 20 and 23 and the final shape is more impactful than last year's seasons were leading up to Lightfall. We're taking the feedback to heart and loading this year up with important moments designed to capture players' imaginations and move the saga forward with each beat. We've already proven this out in Season of the Deep with the revelations of the Witness's origins, substantial lore drops throughout the season at Neomuna, and the implications of where our Guardians go from here after the final missions cutscene. I will agree with that. Season of the Deep has had very good lore in both the seasonal activity and in Neomuna with the decryptions and obviously the final cutscene. Very, very good points. Very, very good lore. We know there are some who would have preferred to experience these stories during Nightfall's campaign. You mean most of us. With those players in mind, we believe the totality of this year's narratives will set the stage for the final shape in ways that a single story beat never could. And to put concerns to rest right now, the final shape and its raid will provide a climactic conclusion to the Light and Darkness saga before we look ahead to what comes next in Destiny 2. Okay, rereading that is a bit better, but Bungie, executives, please understand, I've said this very well, your story for Lightfall was poorly paced, especially if you were playing in a team and playing normal mode. It went by very quickly and left a lot of empty plot points, open plot points. For us to only get resolve for those 3 to 6 months later was not acceptable, and this is something that I've been wanting to say for a long time. The decryptions in Neomuna that have been released in Season of the Deep should have come in Season 20. That should have been available as soon as we finished the Lightfall campaign. That would have been a lot better and would have made Lightfall a much more well-received campaign. Because yes, you spread out your narrative, which I think is what you wanted to do, but it wasn't so far removed from the campaign that people didn't know what was going on. People would have actually been able to invest time and gotten snippets of lore repeatedly throughout the next 3 months, and it would have kept people coming back a lot more than the battlegrounds. So that's my point of view on that. Bring challenge back to Destiny 2. Although we were a bit uneven on this one at the start of the year, we feel we achieved this goal after making additional tweaks based on general feedback at Lightfall's launch. Wow. While enemies in Neomuna still pack a punch regardless of your level, players have been able to steadily climb in power to take on the more difficult challenges they may have had a tough time with earlier in the year due to the absence of a power level cap increase in Season of the Deep. Following the success of these changes, we're confirming today that we also won't be raising the power level cap at Season 22. We've seen a ton of positive feedback on this decision from players who appreciate being able to play at their own pace rather than feeling compelled to chase pinnacles each week. Of course, we'll still have plenty of activities where power is crucial, including Master Rage and Dungeon content, Legend and Master Nightfalls, Grandmasters, Legend and Master Solo, Sectors and Trials of Osiris. This will still be the case throughout Season 22, and Artifact Power will still be as important as ever. For those craving even tougher challenges, we raised the bar on Grandmaster Nightfall difficulty this season with our first PsyOps Battlegrounds GM, which will make an additional appearance before the end of the season for those who didn't get a chance to take it on for the first time. As usual, we'll continue to monitor feedback as we add more Battlegrounds to the Vanguard Nightfall and GM schedule later in Nightfall's year. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Enrich our content based on feedback throughout the year of the Witch Queen. We knew players wanted more exotic missions that the community would need to discover on their own. We also heard the requests from longtime players for the return of previously released exotic missions that the team absolutely loved creating, and we got to work to answer the call. In Season of Defiance, we delivered the Avalon exotic mission with Vex Caliber as a surprise for those who discovered the path into the Vex network. Season of the Deep brought the Whetstone exotic mission to deep divers in search of the new Wicked Implement Scout Rifle and its catalyst. And in just a few weeks, we're bringing back some of the best Destiny 2 content we've ever made with our new exotic mission Rotator starting on day 1 of Season 22. Yes, we're excited for this. The rotation will kick off with the return of Presage to offer a new avenue for players to earn Dead Man's Tale, which will also be craftable for the first time. After that, Vox Obscura and Operation Seraph's Shield will join the rotation, offering up their respective craftable exotics and catalysts as well. We'll have more details on what else to expect from Exotic Mission Rotator in upcoming This Week in Destiny blog as we get closer to launch. Yes. This is very, very exciting. I think this should have been added in probably a while ago, but we're very happy to see this. It's a very good addition to the game. To recap the PvP front, we're delivering the new Season 22 content as mentioned above, including the brand new multiplayer map, new Relic game mode, checkmate game modifier, new competitive Ascendant Division emblem, it's a bit weak, a slick new Trials of Osiris armor set. In addition to the new and returning weapons coming to the Crucible, Iron Man and Trials playlists, we'll also have new sandbox overhauls, exotic armor upgrades, and weapon tuning changes to keep the map fresh alongside the new ways to play PvP when the season kicks off later this month. Finally, we called out back in February that we were initially targeting more changes to ritual content in the final season of the year. While we've made the recent decision to push this initiative to the final shape, that's fine. We have plans to replace some bounties with a more rewarding and engaging system tentatively called the Pathfinder. This is going to be debuted on the new destination in the final shape, and we're currently nailing down a plan for how we can use this system to replace core virtual bounties in the new year. For now, here's a work in progress preview of the Pathfinder UI. Okay, I'm not 100% sure on how I feel about this, but I guess we'll test it out in the final shape. Connect our Guardians. The gameplay systems and quality of life features we added in Lightfall made Destiny 2 the most welcoming it's ever been for new and returning players, and we're doubling down as we head into the final shape. That's very subjective, I guess. Whatever. Season 22 will include new ways to experience key in-game moments in Destiny 2's history and help get millions of Guardians caught up with the confrontation with the Witness in Season 23. Upcoming Fire Team Finder feature will be the silver bullet for players who've never had a full fire team to run endgame content before, including raids, dungeons, master level activities, and more. And in the final shape, we're making big changes to the progression system that will help to connect even more players and remove barriers, helping friends from taking on the same content together. I have more info on that in the showcase. Okay, cool. We're happy with that. We look forward to Season 23. And the in-game fighting finder. The features listed above, combined with everything we're about to show on August 22nd, and everything yet to come, will create the best gameplay experience for the widest possible audience that Destiny 2 has ever seen. Final Shape is incredibly special to us as the culmination of Destiny's first decade, and we're committed to making it just as special for all our players worldwide as the showdown with the Witness approaches. Thanks again for taking the time to read this. Thanks again for taking the time to read this. Today was just a piece of what we have in store. So if we don't run into you in the tower, well then we sure hope to see you all in chat and showcase in 22nd from Joe. Okay, so rereading that, there's actually a lot of good stuff. There's quite a lot of good stuff. If you're a PvE player, I like that we're getting our reprised exotic missions. I like that we're getting our reprised exotic rotator, very good. Quality of life improvements, very good. Some upcoming weapons and armor sets, cool. Ritual playlist changes are fine, I guess. No new ritual armor. Bullshit, Bungie. You can make 20 armor sets in a year without much of a complaint, and you knocked it out the park most of the time. So you can make a single armor set for your ritual playlists. You can. It's just a fact. PvP game modes and modifiers, that's cool. Look forward to that. No map development in PvP or Gambit was very, very telling that you don't actually have a dedicated team to make those. If your excuses is that it's expensive or that it detracts from other areas of the game, what you do is you hire those people to make that content specifically. You make a team for that. You hire people to do that. You add to the team. That's a very simple solution. And yeah, narrative was a little tone deaf, but overall I think we're fine. We'll see that the final shape concludes the story. Happy with that. Lightfall should have had a lot more of a conclusion, but it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, if you're a PvE player, this was pretty good. If you're a PvP or a Gambit player, I'm really sorry, this was really shite. Yeah, thanks for watching, I guess. Hopefully I'll make more videos. I hope to see you in more videos, and if not, I stream on Twitch as hero_creations. There's probably a link in my channel somewhere. Till then, thank you. See you around.